Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Note to Self. Today, I've got a deep episode for you all. This is on existential angst, specifically when the void stares back, navigating existential angst and finding meaning again. So, let's begin with a feeling. The feeling that is existential angst, a quiet ache that lives under the surface. It doesn't always scream, but it whispers questions like, why am I here? Does any of this even matter? Is this really all there is? This is existential angst. And while it can feel like a breakdown, I'm going to provide you with the reframe today that this is always a powerful breakthrough. Angst is not a sign that you're lost. It's a sign that you are awakening. Imagine you're in the middle of a vast ocean. The sky is gray, the waves are still, and there's no land in sight. That disorientation, that moment of where do I go from here, is the threshold. So why do we even feel existential angst as human beings? First, I want to acknowledge and validate you're not broken for feeling this. It is a very normal feeling. And it especially happens during big life transitions, which I'm about to get into. And in fact, your brain is wired to question things very deeply. Here's the scientific facts. When you're reflecting on your life, the default mode network in your brain activates. The same network linked to introspection, rumination, and identity. And when overactive, it can lead to those loops of uncertainty and anxiety. And specifically with existential angst and the questions that it has, like what is the meaning of life? The meaning is what we give it. So it can be very challenging for our brains, our minds, our egos, especially to land on an answer that it actually likes. So the loop can just keep spinning and then we feel like that boat in the ocean. So existential questioning often arises in big life transitions, after loss, at turning points, during our Saturn return, or even at moments of success when, let's say, a big manifestation comes to fruition or the dream life just doesn't feel as you expected it would. So philosophers like Kierkegaard and Sartre saw this angst not as a problem, but a rite of passage. It means that you're confronting the raw truth of being human, that you are free, responsible, and capable, fully capable of creating meaning. And for those of you who may be familiar with Landmark or the Landmark Forum, one of the big lessons that comes from Landmark is that essentially life is empty and meaningless, and it's about the meaning that we create. So life is inherently neutral. The things that happen are inherently neutral and we give them meaning. So when these lofty existential questions might show up, this is your opportunity to create deeper meaning, purpose, and fulfillment in your life. So if you're wondering what it feels like, if you're feeling like what I'm sharing is a bit familiar, let's dive into what existential angst can feel like and how it can manifest. So sometimes it can feel like a fog has rolled in over your life. Maybe you're feeling a bit of a funk setting in. Perhaps everything has gone grayscale. Sometimes it can feel like you're floating, untethered, unmotivated, unsure. I would say for me, most often, and especially navigating grief right now by the loss of my brother, it's felt like a floating. It's felt like I'm desiring to take action towards my goals, but I just feel a bit disoriented and I'm not sure where to start or what my next step is. But the powerful thing is, again, is that these moments, when we recognize the feelings, we can start to ask ourselves, what is the meaning that I would like to create? What is important to me? What would serve me best today? So essentially, existential angst is like being in a hallway between identities. The door behind you is closed and the next one hasn't opened yet. So again, this typically arises during big life transitions, when we've let go of certain aspects of ourselves and we haven't quite fully embodied the new version yet. So here's your reframe. You're not lost. You're in the chrysalis. We are never lost. You're in the chrysalis about to transform. It may be quiet, it may be dark, but inside something is reconfiguring. You're composting old ways of being, and something more true, more aligned, more abundant is waiting to emerge. So here's what not to do when you're in this space, because existential angst can be very uncomfortable and it's tempting to run. It's tempting to numb the void with, for example, constant work, right? Throwing yourself into busyness, scrolling, overthinking, and getting into spiraling loops, or chasing the next fix. But the void is not something to escape. It's actually something to enter, slowly, gently, bravely, because inside it, that's where meaning begins to form again, and a deeper level of meaning. Again, this challenge is a beautiful opportunity for you to find more fulfillment in your own life. So how to navigate the void when it shows up. This isn't about finding the answers overnight. It's about creating a gentle structure for your soul to rest inside while the next version of you takes shape. And here's what can help. Anchoring into the present moment. You don't find clarity by speeding up, you find it by slowing down. Practice breath work. Practice even just being conscious of your breath. Inhaling, exhaling, go on mindful walks, do yoga, let your body bring you back to the now, the only place anything real can happen. And one thing I can say is that for me personally, yin yoga has been so incredible for the existential angst that has arose in my life from time to time through the grief journey, because yin yoga specifically is very deep and meditative, and you hold poses for longer periods of time. So you're recognizing tension or discomfort in the body, and you're practicing releasing that on a deeper level. So again, it almost symbolizes the leaning into or easing into that void, releasing what's no longer serving you there, and finding a new level of clarity. So another thing you can do is let the questions breathe, journal on them. Do not force an answer, but give the questions somewhere to live that is outside of your own mind. And some of these questions you can ask yourself is, what am I afraid might be meaningless right now? What's one moment that brought me peace this week? What would I choose if I trusted life was supporting me? So again, you can think about these questions, but journaling them out, giving them somewhere to exist that is outside of the loops of your own mind, will start to allow for a different stream of consciousness to come through. And these are just examples of questions. You can journal out whatever you feel like wants to flow through you. But with that intentionality, big breakthroughs are available for you. Next, connect, serve, contribute. Sometimes the quickest way to feel meaning again is not through thinking. It's through giving. Help someone, volunteer, hug a friend, cook a beautiful meal for yourself or someone close to you. Ask someone how they really are. Because here's a fun fact. Research shows that people who feel a strong sense of meaning in life often experience it through connection, contribution, and being of service, not in isolation or intellectual analysis. And when you're in your mind, it can, like when you're spiraling out in, let's say, these existential angsty questions, it can feel like a very lonely place. So, it's fact. Get out there, create some connection, create some meaning, and it's going to provide you with the world of difference. I know for me, when I've felt moments of this angstiness come up, I've just decided to cook a very delicious, love-filled meal for my partner and I, and that's gone a long way. Because cooking for me is very therapeutic. It's also a flow of my creative energy, and I just feel good providing that. So it can be very simple. But ask yourself right now, if you clicked onto this episode because you've been feeling a little bit of this angst, how can you connect with someone today? How can you be of service? How can you contribute in a way that creates beautiful meaning? So next, let life surprise you. What if the very ground you think that you've lost is still holding you? What if you're not falling? What if you're not failing? What if you're just shedding? Your soul is composting. This is a very powerful frame or metaphor to think about. The old stories are breaking down to make fertile soil for something new, right? What is no longer serving you has to go, because you've got beautiful, abundant intentions that are about to become embodied for your life. So trust the timing, create rituals, perhaps light a candle, pray, write letters to your future self, tend to the mystery without needing to solve it. So another thing that you can do, and this is one thing that my friend Nicole, one of my longtime besties, she's so wise, she shared with me the other day, because I was voice noting her about my existential angsty questions. And she said that in zooming out and thinking about life, like for example, thinking about like, oh, okay, if I thought about younger Zoe and where Zoe is right now, would she be happy? Would she be like amazed at all the things that she's done? And the answer is yes. So when we can zoom out and reflect on everything that we've learned, evolved into, transformed, the things that we've overcome, right? The struggles that we thought could be there forever that we've eliminated. This is when we start to create, again, even more meaning for our life. So thanks, Nicole, for that awesome contribution to today's episode. She actually inspired this episode. So thank you, Nick. But zoom out, right? Because the angst is just a moment in time and it will pass. And again, a more beautiful, vibrant version of yourself is becoming. You are in a stage, a phase of becoming. And there is something very sacred happening beneath the discomfort that you might be feeling. Your future self, the one with the deeper level of peace, the sharper clarity, and the radiant purpose, is already whispering through the void. Hold on, I'm coming. Just keep walking. I'm almost there. And big change can happen quickly in these spaces. Oftentimes, this is right before something big integrates, a powerful manifestation or goal comes through, or just a magical miracle of life. So I hope that today's episode supported you all. And if you are interested in deepening the journey, the connection that you have with yourself, I'm presently featuring Opening Your Heart with Rose. This is one of my best-selling courses. This course sells all the time, whether I'm talking about it or not, but I just feel like Rose has been coming through very strongly for me lately, and so that's why I wanted to share it in this episode today, because I know that in moments of discomfort like this, when I've leaned into the magic of Rose and her teachings, her wisdom, yes, I'm talking about the plant here, and the healing of my heart, that through taking myself through an intentional dieta, dieting the plant Rose, has supported me with, I have an ally. I have something to fall back on if ever I feel like, ooh, I'm in that floating phase. I need some rooting. I need some grounding. For me, Rose has just been, there's just no words. So incredibly healing. And I know for so many of the women inside of that program, it's been absolutely life-changing. I get the most incredible testimonials from this program about how people's lives are changed. It's not what they expect when they're going into this course, this DIY course of mine, but magnificence happens. Radiance happens. People bloom brighter, more expansive than they ever have before. And so that's what I'm inviting you into today. The link for Opening Your Heart with Rose will be down below. And if you have any questions, you can reach out at any time. But wishing you all a beautiful day. And no matter where you are, know that it's all perfect and it's going to make sense real soon. It always does.